episode 105, a solo episode with me, Tiffany Hinton, and we're talking about why retreats, mini retreats, and actually taking time for yourself is vitally important today on Cultivating Guts. Hello, it's Tiffany, and welcome back to Cultivating Guts, a podcast where we discuss living life with peace and joy, finding our centers, finding our calm as a busy mom. So excited to be back with you guys. I've had so many really insightful moments in the last week, ideas, but also I've done a lot of reflection. I've spent hours in bed, if I'm being honest, and I had to re-find myself again. And I think some of this happens because I have autoimmune diseases. Some of this happens because I just take on too much stress in the daytime at work, or I just try to do too much for what I'm actually capable of doing in my own body. And so I'll share some of that with you today on the podcast, but I also want to share, and this is part of what came out for the reflection, is why it's important to have like a self-retreat, why it's important to take time for you, the mom, for you, the busy wife, for you, the woman, right? Whether you're the mom, the sister, the aunt, no kids at all, no family, you still have to have time for you. And we're going to dive into that today on the podcast. I am video recording, so if you want to see the video, it'll be over on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Tiffany Hinton. You could tune in there. And if you are on YouTube, hello. We are kind of having a face-to-face conversation today, which is really cool with modern technology. Before we get started, I would love for you to follow, subscribe, rate, review the Cultivating Guts podcast. We are in our fourth season. Again, I've got brain fog, so we'll go with fourth season. Might be our third season. No, I feel like it's the fourth season. I don't know at this point. But the subscribers are growing. I saw that even in the reflection that I was doing on Sunday afternoon. Like the amount of people that watch it are growing, the amount of people that find us on YouTube are growing, and the subscribers are growing. But we need your help, because the more ratings and the reviews we have, the more the bots in the world will suggest it to others when they search for new topics, right? Or when they search for peace and calm, or they search for how to find myself, or whatever they're searching for, right? And so I would love for you to do that. If you send me a screenshot of your review, you can just direct message it to me, or send it through email at tiffany@cultivatingguts.com. I'll send you a free video of a Kriya that you can do, a Kriya that's not really public, so an unlisted video that we sell, but I'll give it to you for free as a bonus for rating and reviewing the podcast, and then you can have that for life. You can save it, and you can do it at home in the comfort of your own home. I love reposting as well, so if you find a certain part of the podcast that just hits home and you take a screenshot and tag us on Instagram at I am Tiffany Hinton, I'll get that reposted to our stories, get you a big shout out, send you some love. It's amazing. I'm so grateful for all of our amazing listeners and all of you for helping us grow the podcast over the last few years and just evolving in where we're going. And it's just amazing. And I know I'm using the word "and" a lot this morning. I'm noticing that in my head, so I apologize. Before we head into the show, I do want to talk about one live event that we have coming up. Little shameless self-promotion. So if you're in the Chicagoland area, I have a live mini retreat coming up on December 19th. It's a Thursday evening from 5 to 8 p.m. in Wheeling, Illinois. You can get there by train. Actually, you can get there using the metro. There's a metro stop not even a mile. I think it's not even a half mile from there. Easy commute, lots of Ubers. I'm sure we can carpool if you end up taking the metro out to the Wheeling station. I'm sure we can find somebody to grab you and bring you over to the venue. I've rented Bonner Hall Community Center in Wheeling. We're going to have space for 25 people. We already have people signing up, so space is already going, and I'd love for you to be there. So I want, as you're listening to this, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably supposed to be at the event. Definitely find a way to get there, clear your calendar, put it on your calendar now. It's December 19th, again from 5 to 8, and we'll dive more into it. There is a $20 early bird discount if you book it by the end of the day on the 12th. So that gives you, I'm going to put this podcast out hopefully on the 11th. You'll have about 24 hours to get in on the early bird discount, and then prices go up to cover the cost. There is a lot of free stuff you're going to get, though, and a lot of fun bonuses as well. So come join us for the Holiday Stress Immersion Workshop. I'm calling it a mini retreat because that's what it is. And with that, we're going to dive into the show. All right. Welcome to Cultivating Guts. So a lot of filler words, guys. I am totally in recovery mode. The reason why do we need a mini retreat, right? As a woman, as a mom, as a busy corporate person, why do we need that mini retreat? Why do we need that time for ourselves, that getaway? We need it because physically our bodies need a time for the nervous system to just chill. We need it because our bodies need a reset. If you physically are in fight or flight, stress all the time, high cortisone levels, you will drain your adrenals, and eventually your adrenals will stop functioning. And I don't want to talk all about the medical side, but I do want you to know, like, it's not just something you crave. It's not something that is selfish. It is something that medically your doctor should be suggesting, especially if you are working outside the home, have children that you're taking care of, a house, pets, like anything. Even if you're just living alone, your doctor should still be suggesting this, because aspects of life can become too much and they create what I would call little traumas, little T's, right? And little T's are very significant, even though they're not a big T. They're not a huge trauma, right? Big trauma could be getting raped. Big trauma could be a car accident. Big trauma could be losing a loved one and being in grief for many years. Big trauma is, big trauma. So big trauma is even watching things like 9/11 on television. That can create big trauma for people. Little trauma, these are my opinions, right? My opinions here. Little trauma is your child yelling at you in the morning and then them leaving for school in tears, maybe. Or you really breaking your heel at work and then being stressed out about, well, oh my God, my shoes are broken. I don't know what I'm going to wear. Little trauma could be missing your train on your commute home or on your way to work. Little trauma could be actually having to stop for gas when you didn't plan to stop for gas. And some of you are like, oh my God, that's not trauma. Well, depending on your physical makeup, depending on your stress levels, depending on your nervous system, your adrenals, your thyroid, those things are little trauma. Little trauma could also be having an overdraft at the bank, not having the money to buy your kids food, right, when they need something. Those are all little traumas. And all of that over time builds up. And it builds up to where we hit a breaking point. It builds up to where we as women have hormone dysfunction, we have moon cycle dysfunction, we have adrenal failure, we have thyroid issues, we have these bouts of depression, we could have all of this different things happening. And these are why I'll tell you why you need the mini retreat, why you need a workshop, why you need to, whether it's an hour, 3 hours, or 7 days, you need to not be selfish, but to go fill up your own cup, right? And a lot of us here, you can't give to others unless you give to yourself. And one of my coaches actually brought that into perspective, because in the materialistic world and in a lot of, I think, the religious sector, they use that you can't give to others unless you give to yourself to talk about saving money, right? And so building a savings account so you can donate to others, or I'm trying to think of other things that they like, giving to your family so your family can give to others. But in reality, it's about giving yourself a workout, giving yourself a meditation, giving yourself nutrient dense food, giving yourself a mental 5-minute break in the middle of the day, giving yourself good sleep, because you can't give to anybody, whether it's your children, your husband, your house, your pets, unless you do those things for yourself. And so that 10% is so interesting, because this is what my coach was saying. If there's 24 hours in a day, 10% is like your 2 hours and 40 minutes, right? That's sadhana time if you're in the yogic space. That's the 4:30 a.m. And some of you are like, God, I don't wake up at the time. I don't always either. Don't feel bad. But that is that morning time from like 4:30 to 7 a.m., right? Or if some people would say 3:30 to 6 a.m., depending on how it is. But that 2.5 hours doesn't have to be at that time. It can be broken up throughout the day. You could get up in the morning and give yourself morning prayer, maybe some morning music, a morning hot tea or a coffee. In the evening, you take a hot bath. Whatever it is, you need to find about 2.5 hours a day to give to yourself those nutrient dense foods, those 5-minute resets, those experiences throughout your day that give to you so that you don't physically and mentally break. And those are the reasons why personally I find these retreats are super important. My husband will tease me about, oh, you're taking a private vacation again. Yeah, I am. I am going away by myself for a week. I'm going to a yoga retreat. I'm going to Joshua Tree. I'm getting ready to go to Kripalu in January. Yes, I'm flying to Massachusetts in January when it's going to be cold and snowing, but it's going to be beautiful, right? I'm going to Breckenridge and I'm climbing a mountain with 6 other women. Like, those things are what we need. We need that community of women. And my daughters also, I will tell you, say, Mom, you don't have very many friends. And I'm like, I know, I got 4. I'm good with my 4. But that 4 is the circle of women I want to surround myself with. That 4 is what gives me what I need to then give to others. I can spend time with almost any of them, I would say any of the 4, and walk away having either a rant and letting stuff out, having somebody, when I get back from a vacation, give me a hug and say, I'm so glad you're back. I've missed you. Talking things through, being told that I'm so glad you're my friend, right? All of that is mutual, and we give to each other. And in giving to each other, we're giving that part of that 2.5 hours. And so it's not about necessarily having a group of 50 friends. If you do, that's awesome and amazing. For me, it's about a close-knit group, because who I surround myself with is who I actually kind of bring in and I embody more, and I show up similar to them. And so I want to be cautious and careful about who those people are. So anyway, back to our main topic. So these mini retreats, right? Or these 5-day yoga retreats, or whatever it is for you that gives to yourself, it's important to do them. Maybe you do them with your husband or your significant other, and it's just the 2 of you, and yet while you're there with the 2 of you, you have some alone time. Maybe it's you going away with a group of women, or you signing up for a yoga retreat, whether it's at Kripalu or Joshua Tree or Costa Rica or Bali or wherever, and going on an adventure alone and showing up and not knowing anybody, but then finding friends when you get there. For me, I've had several experiences probably in the last decade where I've done these trips by myself. The very first time I ever traveled alone on an airplane by myself, I was in 8th grade, and I was going to my grandma's, right? Super easy. My mom puts me on a plane. My grandma picks me up. No fear. Maybe a little bit of fear. The first time I went alone on an airplane to stay in a hotel to do a educational conference for 2 days, completely alone in a city I'd never been to, I was freaking out. Totally freaking out. And that was, I'm trying to think, I was before any of the kids were born, so we're talking at least 15 years ago. But I was living in Chicago. It was a growth education opportunity to learn some stuff that I needed. And Will was like, "You're gonna grow. You need this. You go. You'll be fine. Like, don't freak out." And I was freaking out the whole time, but I did it, right? And that was probably a traumatic experience a little bit, just because I remember the level of anxiety with that trip. But when I go on what is intentionally a mini retreat, what is intentionally a yoga retreat, what is intentionally a women's, like weekend, they're not scary. There's no anxiety. It's not the same feel. I could be going to a city where I know nobody, but yet meeting people I know when I get there, right? And I'll give you some examples. So a mini retreat about 9 years ago, I was invited to come to the Sears Tower for a private sound bath. And I knew the lady that was hosting and like organizing it. I knew none of the other 50 people that were attending. And yet I got on the metro. I was super excited to be going. I was super excited, super, super excited. I didn't know any of the attendees, like I said, but I knew that one person that when I got there would greet me at the door. And I knew that it was a retreat, a mini retreat. It was an hour event at the top of the Sears Tower with the lights out in a sound bath with the city lights all around us. It was this amazing, unique experience. And I walked away from that completely reset. Like, I got back on the metro to come home, and I couldn't even tell you how I got home because I was just like in awe, right? I was in that Waheguru state of mind. And I just mentally at that point and physically came home and was like, I feel like I've gotten, healing, because I had. It was amazing. Now, flying out to Joshua Tree, again, I had been working in a mastermind, so I knew some of the ladies that were going to be there. I didn't know all of them. Never been to Joshua Tree. Flew into LAX. A friend of mine decided to go with me when I was headed out to Joshua Tree. She grabbed me at LAX. We had the best time. Neither one of us really knew what to expect. We knew we would have organic food. We knew we would be out in nature. We knew that we were staying like glamping style. And that was kind of all I knew when we checked in. I didn't know we'd get up at 4 a.m. to do sadhana together as a group. I didn't know that we wouldn't go to bed till 11, 12 p.m. sometimes at night, because we were doing rituals and having circles and healing sound baths before we went to sleep for hours. I came home from that experience, and that was, I feel like, 4 nights maybe, 3 or 4. Oh my God, so restored. I had no autoimmune flare-ups for a very long time. I could take on more. Like, not that I wanted to take on more stress, but my body could handle more. And it was amazing, right? And then about exactly 2 years ago, 2022, right? 2 years ago, in the fall, I went out with about 6 women to Colorado, and again, we all booked an Airbnb together. We got up every morning, did our yoga, did a mini sadhana, went for a morning hike in the mountains, just did a lot of soul searching together, did a lot of tuning into the universe, a lot of listening for direction and path and like guidance on where we were going next, because the pandemic was ending and it was like, what's the next step of my journey? We climbed the mountain the very last day, and then we flew home. And I will never forget that trip. It was so life-changing, so life-impacting. So whether it is that 1 hour mini retreat that you have locally, or it is that weekend retreat that you do with women, or it's that 4-day yoga getaway, or it's something else, I mean, it could honestly be, I would say right now, I try to go to the local sauna with a friend of mine every week. We go for like 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours. If it's summertime, we sit out in the sun at the pool. We do the sauna, we do the cold plunge, we do a salt cave, we repeat it all. We have herbal tea together, and then we go out normally for a very nutrient dense meal afterward. And every week, as soon as we're there for like 30 minutes, I will say it's like steam sauna, cold plunge, steam sauna, cold plunge. And then I walk out of the cold plunge the second time doing this like circuit. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just feel different. My body feels like everything is reset. Like I feel amazing. I feel like I can sleep again. I feel like I'm just new. And then there are weekends where I take Will to the same sauna and we do a similar circuit where it's hot sauna, cold plunge, hot sauna, cold plunge, hot sauna, cold plunge. And those extremes are on purpose. There's a whole scientific method there. And he even says, like, this is my recharge. This is my natural caffeine. This is the natural high. Like, this is what my body needs. And so whether, like I said, it's the sauna, it's the mountain hike, it's the sound bath, those moments where we give to ourselves, we pour into ourselves, we spend that 2.5 hours a day doing the things that our body, our souls, our beings need so that we can show up in the world full of light and love and compassion and empathy are super important. So one of the reasons I'm putting the retreat together around Yule, not only is the energy of Yule the beginning, right? Yule is the day, the darkest day of the year. And then immediately following that, the days get longer. The light comes. It's the symbol of new beginning, right? The sun is reborn. There's so much there. And so we're doing our holiday stress immersion retreat workshop intentionally on that Yule energy weekend. We're doing a full yoga class and kriya and meditation for like 40 minutes, followed by a long sound bath. I'm going to come in and play and bring the gong, and I'm bringing singing bowls and Himalayan like crystal bowls. I'll bring drums, like the whole setup, because it's important for us. We're going to put you, and then we're going to craft. I love to craft, honestly. Medicinal crafts, herbal crafts. We're going to do that on purpose. We're going to use rosemary. It's got protective and healing properties. It's really, really, I sit here with, if you're on the video, I sit here and I'm showing you like with rosemary essential oil on my desk at home. It just sits here because of what it can do for the body, the nervous system, just the smell of it itself. And so I would love, love, love for you to join us on that 19th. And again, if you're listening to this podcast, there's a reason you're listening to this. The universe doesn't do anything not on purpose. Sign up for the retreat if you're listening. Come join us. And if we're at capacity and you're like, wait, you only said there's 25 spots and I'm number 26, text me, message me, send me a private DM on Instagram or a email, and I'll figure out if we can squeeze you in. Because if you're listening to this, you're meant to be there. This is for you. This is the retreat that you physically, mentally, and spiritually need right now. You need this. You need this reset. With that, guys. All right, you guys, if you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you did, I hope you found insights. Share with me in the comments your favorite personal retreat, your favorite personal self-love time. Like, when did you pour into yourself so much that it changed your life? Put that in the comments. If you have other suggestions as well for other yoga retreats coming up or mini retreats, feel free to share those in the comments. I'm sure that not only me, other people are looking for getaways that they just know that they need as a being. I'm here to answer any questions you might have. If you need information on any of the stuff I shared, I'd love to give it to you as well. And I'm excited to see your benefits from you coming to my mini retreat or going to the mini retreats that you already have planned in your life. Satnam. Love you guys. So if you love this episode, remember to share it with your friends. Send it to anyone who may love this inspiration and information that we shared. To get my newest movement video to help you stabilize your energy, visit our website and download it for free. It's my gift for you. You can just go to cultivatingguts.com. There's a link right there. You pop in your email, and as soon as you do that, we send you the link to the video. It's super easy. And again, our retreat is December 19th from 5 to 8 p.m. in Wheeling, Illinois. $20 off right now until end of day on the 12th of December. So you can save there. And bring your family, bring your friends, bring your mom, your sister, your aunties. Just come and enjoy the evening. Get your own personal fill as we move through this season. Because there are so many holidays right now. There's so much stress in our world. We're moving into the new year, and you want to go there with your own brightness. I want you to radiate. I want you to shine. I want you to walk out into the world with compassion and empathy because you've given to yourself. And I want to give that gift to you. I'll put the link for you to sign up for the Eventbrite in the comments below. And with that, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Love you all.